The next is a resolution to approve an establishment of a sister city partnership with Huehuetenango. I hope Sherry approves that I said that correctly. And as Mr. Herring comes up, I wore my Guatemala shirt today, and we got a hat that we were there, and part of the delegation was there. So.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Members of the council, admin staff. My name is Edward Herring with the Sister City Commission. This is Kristen Petros, who also was with us on the trip, who's involved with the community action side of our development of Huehuetenango. Let me go back and give you a very, very brief history to catch us up to the point where we are today. In 2018, a group of teachers and different school parents had requested that we were to look at a sister city, a Spanish-speaking sister city. And we began a process with the approval of council in January of 2018 to search for cities that would be interested. And together with the city, we also, as part of our policy, search for support groups, because each of our sister cities needs to have a support group to work with the community. Now, we have had sister cities now for 48 years. We have a sister city relationship with Poggio in Italy, which will celebrate in 2 years our 50th anniversary. Next year, in 2026, we will celebrate our 20th year anniversary with Besançon in France. And of course, we have a relationship with Winneba in Ghana, and many of you are aware of that. In December of 2020, Council voted to extend an offer to the city of Huehuetenango in Guatemala to become our friendship city. Friendship city is the first step towards becoming a sister city. It's sort of like getting engaged, and then we spend a few years getting to know each other. So we became friendship cities officially on July the 1st, 2021. So when the time lapse had to do with the pandemic that happened, where we were not able to have meetings, we were not able to travel, and therefore we got started much slower than we normally would have. And of course, since July 2021, we've been actively involved. I made a trip there, the initial trip in 2023, to explore the city, to meet the fathers there, to meet the commission there. The gentleman from Huehuetenango and the vice mayor came here in November of 2023 for their first visit. And most recently, as Mayor Wade said, we took a delegation of 12 people to Huehuetenango. Mayor Wade, Ms. Petros, several people, also from the Guatemala Foundation. Guatemala Foundation represents the community with which we work, which gives us support for our relationship. For a second, if we would, we'd let Ms. Petros speak to the community.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Edward. I'm not as off the cuff as Edward. I have some words prepared. So good evening, council members, and thanks for welcoming us. My name is Kristen Petros de Guesh, and I have been a Charlottesville resident for many years. I had the privilege of serving as a Peace Corps volunteer for 4 years in Central America, and during that time I worked shoulder to shoulder with indigenous rural communities in Guatemala and Honduras on community-led health and sanitation projects. More recently, I worked at the Inter-American Foundation supporting grassroots community development across Latin America. My husband Marco is indigenous Maya from Guatemala's Department of El Quiché, and our children are bilingual and multicultural. And being part of a family that straddles both Charlottesville and Guatemala has given me a deep appreciation for the importance of connection, culture, and shared experience. We also live in the vibrant community of Southwood, which includes many neighbors from Guatemala and Huehuetenango specifically. So these personal and local ties make the Sister City Initiative both meaningful and deeply relevant. As Edward mentioned, the Guatemala Alliance, which is formerly the Ixtatan Foundation, will serve as our local advocacy partner, and I'm honored to serve on their board. Together, we're envisioning programs that are locally guided and mutually beneficial, including cultural celebrations, educational exchanges, youth leadership, and community-driven economic development projects. We've identified over a dozen community partners partners with connections to Guatemala, including Building Goodness Foundation, Sin Barreras, the Church of the Incarnation, UVA's Latin American Studies Department, and Charlottesville City Schools, among others, who are ready to collaborate on exchange activities. And just last month, I had the privilege of joining Mayor Wade on a week-long delegation to Huehuetenango. We met local leaders, visited artisan markets, experienced music and dance, and saw firsthand the efforts that families are making to improve health and well-being in their communities. On one visit to a remote village, we met a family who had recently paved their dirt floors, and that was a milestone that they were deeply proud of. Watching Mayor Wade chat with the children and congratulate the family was a moment of genuine human connection that reflected exactly what a sister-city relationship can foster. And I will be wrapping up. Just wanted to say that Huehuetenango is one of the most ethnically and linguistically diverse departments in Guatemala. It's both like a state and a city by that name. It's home to some 9 distinct indigenous communities speaking their own languages. So a sister-city relationship can honor that richness and potentially support learning and exchange opportunities between indigenous communities both there and here, such as the Monacan Nation, if that is welcome and guided by the communities themselves. So in closing, by supporting this elevation to full sister city status, City Council will help strengthen the ties between our cities, supporting cultural exchange and nurturing relationships that are built on respect, collaboration, and lived experience. On behalf of the Sister Cities Commission, the Guatemala Alliance, and the residents of both of our cities who are ready to participate, I ask for your support in advancing Huehuetenango from a friendship city to a full sister city. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. In the package you have in front of you with a resolution, basically it is stated that we have the recommendation of the full Sister City Commission as well as admin staff here to make this change. We've spent 3 years working closely together with the commission and with the mayor, directly with the mayor of Huehuetenango, and we have identified several projects, which some are already in process. Included in the package also is a preliminary budget for the first 2 years, which lists activities that we've envisioned working with Huehuetenango. We discussed most of these activities with Huehue. All of them will not happen. Some of them are also activities, general activities that we're doing with all our cities together. So we will include them in those. But that gives you an idea of some of the things that are going to be happening, not uniquely for Huehue, but for all our sister cities together. I do need to mention the fact that it's very important to understand we had some very serious conversations with the mayor from Huehuetenango. What some of you may not know is the fact that during the Cold War era, there was a lot of activities that went on that were sponsored by the United States government, which undermined the governments of Latin America, in particular Guatemala, to the point where we helped replace democratically elected presidents. We helped support genocide to some extent, and we helped support the takeover of the lands from the indigenous people by the United Fruit Company. There was a period of almost 100 years of distrust. Unfortunately, it only ended most recently in 1996, which means the fact that it is still fresh in the memory of many people. So we went in and we did some conversations on friendship and reconciliation, where we talked about the fact that we understand the past. We understand the role that America played in the past. But at the same time, we wanted to reemphasize the purpose of the Sister Cities International, which is the relationships and diplomacy, person to person, citizen to citizen, city to city. And the fact that we accept it as an American, our responsibility, but at the same time, we promise to work with them respectfully and directly. And I think the relationship that we formed during this most recent trip, I wish all of you could have been there to see how warmly we were received. And the fact that the last thing you have, there are 2 things in your package also. There is an agreement that will be signed by our mayor and their mayor on our next meeting. It is a partnership agreement for it to become full sister cities. In addition to that, there is a memorandum of understanding which outlines some of the different activities, bylaws, and expectations of the relationship. So you have in front of you a recommendation and you have the full package, and we hope that you will consider elevating the city of Huehuetenango from a friendship city to a full sister city. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, and I just wanted to chime in, because it's been about 1 month since we have returned, and that I concur with everything that Edward said. We're warmly received. I saw just countless opportunities for partnerships, collaboration between the two localities, whether it's students visiting, whether it's teachers going down to, partner with the Guatemala Alliance with the project-based learning. The city is has everything. We're in the urban part, but then a few hours still in the region. We're able to be in the most remote areas of the country, and visiting people who've just had their floors concreted. So you're able to get the whole gamut, and it was just really great for me to visit and to see and feel and taste for myself. And I've already had many friends already that I've established, and we've already been in touch several times since I have returned, and I'm looking forward to going back. So I strongly support this resolution.
Would you like to move it to the?
I moved, we adopt the,
Can I ask a question?
yes, I'm sorry.
So a lot of this, I'm going to be supportive, but I just have a question, which is, because I was having before I was on council, how does the exact city get chosen?
The
Who
process
brings
started-
that up?
Well,
Yeah.
I was actually on the commission back in 2018 when we first broached the idea and it was approved. So we were open to receiving requests from 5 different cities, ranging from Mexico to Argentina. What we were looking for, number one, was a city that had something unique to offer. We already have cities in Europe, so we were not looking for another European culture. We wanted a city that was a Spanish-speaking city, particularly to meet this criteria, but we wanted something that would bring in a unique culture to us. And so some of the cities that we had looked at, the culture was not that different. For instance, in Argentina, the city outside of Buenos Aires had a culture that was very, very European, much like being in Spain. But we already have a city in France, we have a city in Italy. So we didn't feel that Argentina would bring a unique perspective to us. We wanted a city that had some struggles similar to us. We've had issues, obviously, this is Virginia, this is Charlottesville, so we still struggle with racial equality, racism. Now, we were looking for a city that understood. Now, their racism in Guatemala is very different. There are 500 years of a blended people, but still there's racism. So they have different perspectives. We were looking for a place, a city where we could learn from them, where we could learn about how they have been coping with different issues. They're a poor city, very, very poor city. They are coping with trying to bring basic education to their population. And so we are finding the fact that we have a lot to learn. We are not a big brother. We are not someone who's going to go there and take them tons of money in a wheelbarrow. But what we are taking with them are perhaps some of our experiences. At the same time, we're learning to look at things from a different perspective. Each of our sister cities brings a different picture to us. Ghana, Winneba, is a different story that has to do historically with the slave trade, but it's also a very modern city. France, we have ties to France that we've had for many, many years. Everyone in Virginia seems to have those, and we're very close with them. France is also very important because of the 20-year relationship between Charlottesville High School and the high schools in France. Italy, because of, goes back many, many years, 48 years, with the relationship in Italy, and some of the different inspirations for architecture in Charlottesville came from there. So each city has brought a unique flavor to our relationship. So that's what we were looking for, and that's what we found with Huehuetenango.
Great, thank you.
I move that we adopt the resolution.
Second.
As we're voting, I want to thank my colleagues that went with me there. And Kristen, thank you for helping me at the airport there when we were in Guatemala City. I appreciate you helping a brother out there. It was in a tight spot, so thank you. Glad you can speak Spanish fluently. So, yes, yes. I have it up here.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Motion passes. Thank you so much. Appreciate y'all.